fire, and it's anything but. What do you have there?
Yeah, it certainly is not a car fire. Obviously, it's an airplane. That's a Cessna 152 based out of Redlands. It ran into a bush, or a tree, I should say, and then almost hit the home. We understand there were two people on board the plane. They're going to be okay. It didn't hit the structure or the home, so no one on the ground has been injured. That all according to LA County Fire. Now, it comes back at 4900 Arden Drive, which is really only about 2 or 3 blocks to the west of El Monte Airport. It's unclear if it was in the pattern here, but we did learn the aircraft, this 152, came out of Mission Flight Academy in Redlands, which gives us an idea, Philip, and certainly it's speculation, but more than likely it was some type of training flight. A 152, I've flown one before. It's a type of aircraft you learn in your initial aircraft to learn how to fly. The systems are very simple, and you do a lot of training in this aircraft. It's somewhat inexpensive to fly, and it makes getting your license, economically feasible. Fortunately, though, Philip, incredibly, no one hurt. The pilot and the passenger on board are okay. No one on the ground has been injured. We had a sad incident Friday afternoon with 2 people that were killed when that airplane came down and crashed into a building off of Fullerton Airport. But this is right next to El Monte Airport, and boy, certainly could have been much, much worse.
Yeah, when we first started with this, that is immediately what came to mind was the plane crash in Fullerton. That plane almost went straight in. It looked as if maybe it stalled or some reason lost elevation, and it turned and dove into that building. This is different. It's got that tree. As I look at that tree there, that almost looks like it saved everyone because it hit the wing and not the main body of the plane. It stopped the plane from going into the building, and it probably saved the people in the pilot seat.
Yeah, it very well could have. It certainly absorbed all the force when this plane came in. Now, we're right next to El Monte Airport. This is actually almost exactly where the aircraft would be on a downwind to the runway at El Monte. And it does look like the pilot had control of the plane somewhat compared to what we saw in Fullerton. In Fullerton, that plane went into a spin. When a small plane goes into a spin, you can recover, but only at altitude. They teach you how to recover out of a spin, but if you get into a spin and you're 500 feet above the ground, you'll never recover from that. You get into a spin in a big airliner, it will never recover. You can't get going too slow, stall out the wings, then you're into a spin, and you can't control the aircraft. It appears in this case, that appears to be the case in Fullerton from initial glance, is what happened with the aircraft going straight in, the explosion. In this case, it appears the pilot had control of the aircraft. Whether it had engine problems, exactly what may have happened is unclear. That'll be investigated by the NTSB. Certainly weather is not a factor. There's little to no wind. It is clear today. But Philip, it's right in the pattern, which would be the downwind for the runway at El Monte Airport. It very well could have been doing a training flight coming to El Monte to do some touch and goes where you land on the runway and then you just take right back off. That's what you do hundreds of times when you want to become a pilot and you want to learn how to land and take off. You do that over and over again. Pure speculation on my part. I'm just saying that because of how close it is to El Monte Airport, because it came out of a flight school in Redlands, and it's an aircraft that is usually used for training, a small little 150.
Scott, is there any way we can actually give a perspective of where that airport is from this plane? And again, if we can, I just want to reiterate, there were 2 people on this plane, and neither of them appear to be seriously hurt and very possibly not hurt at all. So they are being looked at, they're being taken care of, and so we're looking straight down on it. I just couldn't really tell. Oh, is it? So the airport is off to our left?
Around. No, the plane. Go back into the plane crowd. Well, you see it down on the bottom of your screen. We had to move around because we were right over the airport. Show them the plane crash. I think it's on the bottom of your screen there, if I'm not mistaken. So there's the plane, and we're at an angle to take a good look at it. You can tell as we move around, we'll lose that a little bit. But as we do now, we can open up and pan to the left. Before we couldn't do it. We can't look straight down with the camera. And there's El Monte Airport. So that's the downwind. That's right on the downwind. You take off from the airport, you make a downwind, you parallel the runway, then you make a base leg where you make a 90-degree turn, then you turn on final and you land. So it's exactly on the downwind pattern for El Monte Airport. It comes back as Temple City. It's got to be right on the border. But again, speculation, but it appears to be more than likely it may have been in the pattern here at El Monte Airport.
Okay. Scott, thank you very much. This has been breaking news of a small plane crash in Temple City. No one appears to have been hurt. It did not hit the house. So we'll continue to monitor this. We'll have the latest on Eyewitness News at 11 a.m. I'm Philip Palmer. We return you now to regular programming.